invertida. Miramos en todo caso a la inversión, a los mercados. David Wheeler, PM of the Sustainable Climate Solution and Alliancebernstein. ¿Qué tal? Muy buenas tardes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thanks for having me on the show and the opportunity to talk about our climate solutions investing here at Alliancebernstein.
It's a pleasure for Negocios Television. You have been, David, the portfolio manager at the AB Sustainable Climate Solutions strategy since the inception. Where is the climate solution and how does investing in this help to combat climate change?
Yeah, climate solutions are really two things. It's about decarbonization of the global economy and resilience. If you step back and think about it, there's two major climate challenges facing the world, and that's the fact that we need to decarbonize the economy in order to avoid the worst of climate change in the future for our children and for our grandchildren. And the second thing we need to do is build resilience or adapt to climate change that we're already locked into because of the high emissions we've had historically. So solving climate change really means investing in decarbonization and investing in resilient solutions. And what we do, there are abundant opportunities to invest in companies whose products and services are directly helping to achieve those two things.
What types of climate solution investment are available? How can our viewers invest in climate solutions?
Yeah, we've identified 8 different solutions, again, across decarbonization and resilience. Some examples in decarbonizations would be things like clean energy, things like resource efficiency, things like transportation. If you think about resilience, it would be solutions in the area of things like water and agriculture. And so just to unpack that, like if you think about transportation decarbonization, you can invest in products like electric vehicles, biofuels, and even carbon fiber. Carbon fiber is a fuel efficiency opportunity for airplanes. Most airplanes are made out of steel and aluminum. That can be replaced with carbon fiber, and that shift is underway. And by doing that, you lightweight the planes, you make them more fuel efficient, and you help to reduce carbon emissions. So there's that's one way. That's an example of a solution that we can target. So our goal when we invest across all these climate solutions is to generate strong financial returns, but also to invest in companies who are helping to solve climate problems.
Is there any attractive investment opportunity here? I imagine that there are some risks and some rewards too.
I think it's an incredibly attractive investment opportunity. In fact, I've been an investor coming up on 30 years, and climate investment is the biggest investment opportunity I've seen in my career. Just to give you some perspective, about $1 trillion globally around the world is spent on decarbonization. So transitioning our energy systems to cleaner systems. That's expected to grow to $4 trillion by 2030. So when you think about the size of those dollars and the growth rates, you can see how massive the investment opportunity is. And so when I think about it, companies whose products and services are helping to address those climate challenges, those companies are going to see very strong demand growth for their products and services over the next 5, 10, 15 years. You can think of these as thematic secular tailwinds driving the profit growth for these companies. So it's a tremendous investment opportunity. But there definitely are risks. There's definitely one risk. One thing that we've learned investing in themes like climate over the past 20 years is that it's not sufficient to just invest in companies who are thematically relevant. We think it's critical to invest in high quality companies as well. And what do I mean by that? We want to invest in companies with sustainable competitive advantages that generate very strong return on capital above their cost of capital, that are well run, that have strong management teams, that have strong balance sheets. So quality matters. And the other thing that matters and can be a risk is valuation. Again, it's not enough to be thematically relevant. Investors have to take a disciplined approach that includes valuation and a focus on quality. And as active managers, we think we can capitalize on this attractive investment opportunity, but do it by avoiding some of the risks that I mentioned.
Yeah, but there are sometimes some problems. For example, the ESG data can be incomplete or challenging to understand. It is possible to measure the impact of a climate solution investment, the Article 8, the Article 9. I imagine that there is an option.
Yeah, I don't think there's any simple solution in the existing data. As you mentioned, I think it's incomplete. It is confusing. So what data is out there? So companies have to report their carbon emissions from their operations. So that just sort of gets to the, are they a heavy emitter? But it doesn't really tell you much about their contribution to solving the climate challenge of our need to decarbonize. So some people refer to that data that companies issue as carbon footprints. And again, I don't think it tells the whole story. I think what we've done is we've developed our own in-house data on what we call carbon handprints. And that's the contribution of a company's products and services to the efforts of the world to decarbonize. And we think this is much more useful data. It paints a complete picture of a company's impact, and we use this to help identify companies to invest in. So the data is not great out there. We've built our own to try and make more sense and try and do a better foundation for where to invest in this space.
And what role must play governments, policymakers to promoting climate solutions?
I think an important role, not the only role, but an important role. I think addressing climate change has become political consensus. So that is really good news. Countries representing 90% of global emissions have made commitments to net zero. So I think there is political consensus there. What role can they play? They can provide incentives and regulations that I think will help accelerate investment in decarbonization solutions. But government policy isn't the only driver. It's not the only. Accelerating investments in this area is not completely dependent on governments. There's so much innovation going on in the space. Many decarbonization solutions have become economic and more economic than more polluting solutions. An example is power generation, where renewables like wind and solar are much cheaper than producing power with coal or gas. Another driver is consumers. Consumers want to move in this direction, as do companies. Companies around the world want to become more sustainable, want to have more sustainable products. So governments matter, but I think there's a lot of things that are going to drive increased investment in climate solutions in the years ahead.
Among a lot of problems, water scarcity, the lack of water, is a growing problem that we have seen in many regions around the globe. What is causing this, and how can we address through policy or investment?
Yeah, I mean, the world has a serious liquidity problem and it's growing water scarcity. And this isn't something new, but climate change is making it worse. There's about 2 billion people around the world that lack access to clean drinking water, for example. And hotter temperatures caused by climate change is only making it worse. It's only making water shortages more acute in a growing number of regions, whether it's Cape Town, South Africa, whether it's Somalia, which has had a severe drought right now, Latin America, and even the Western United States, where the Colorado River, which supplies water to 40 million people in the U.S., is at historically low levels and endangering water supplies. So investments are needed to address this, and there are water solutions that can help address water scarcity. And it's things that can impact in two ways. One is to increase water supplies through things like water treatment, desalination, recycling of existing water. And the other way to make water go farther is to become more efficient in the use of it. And some examples of that are things like leak detection for utilities to reduce water that doesn't end up going to consumers or companies. Water meters, and efficient irrigation systems to help make agriculture much more water efficient. So there are, there are some significant equipment and services in the water area that can help address water scarcity, and companies, again, that provide those services should see very strong demand growth for their products in the years ahead.
You are working on, you are researching. What is next?
Yeah, well, there's a lot ahead of us. So again, I mentioned the amount of capital that needs to go into climate solutions, and it's pretty diverse. But one very interesting area that we've been spending a lot of time doing kind of deep dive research on is agriculture. And how can we solve increasing food production and making it more resilient against the impacts of climate change. We talked a little bit about water scarcity and droughts. Those clearly can have a big impact on agricultural production. So from an investment standpoint, we kind of boiled it down to 3 areas within agriculture: genetics, environment, and management. So genetics, what we're talking about is companies that are leveraging genomic sequencing to produce crop seeds that are pest resistant and need less water to grow. So again, enhancing resiliency. Environment is about social health. We can invest in bio-based pesticides and herbicides and replace more harmful chemical-based pesticides and herbicides. And for management, what we're talking about is precision agriculture. So products like precision sprayers help reduce excess fertilizer and chemical use and actually enhance nutrient delivery and raise crop yields. So agriculture, investments in agriculture is an important climate solution and just one of the many opportunities that we're focused on.
David Wheeler, PM of the Sustainable Climate Solutions at Alliancebernstein. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure talking to you in Negocios Televisión. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bueno, la entrevista con el responsable de Alliancebernstein para las soluciones climáticas, que pasa por esa descarbonización, una estrategia de cambio climático que pasa por la descarbonización, la inversión en 8 diferentes panoramas para tratar de hacer frente a los cambios económicos y los cambios a los que obliga el cambio climático. Dice que este tipo de inversiones tienen unos fuertes retornos, unas fuertes rentabilidades y es de posible crecimiento de entre a los próximos 5 e incluso 10 años. Nos decía David Wheeler, la calidad en estos casos importa. También las evaluaciones que realizan en los despachos de Alliancebernstein, entre otras gestoras. Las inversiones, dicen, siguen siendo necesarias para solventar problemas como la sequía, como la escasez de agua. Hay mucho trabajo por delante, nos sentenciaba David Wheeler en la última de las intervenciones. Nosotros, publicidad y seguimos.